chairman and CEO of Micromed Cardiovascular Inc. And they make a very interesting product which makes people live beyond the age of the heart. Let's hear from Bill.
Thank you, Mateen. Yes, we make a miniature blood pump, which actually, congestive heart failure is probably the #1 cause of death in the world today. There are more deaths from heart failure than there are from all forms of cancer combined. So we make a miniature pump that can be implanted in a sick individual, whether they're young or old, and take over the pumping function of a diseased heart when the heart can no longer supply enough blood to the body.
How long is the lifespan of this particular product?
We don't know. We think that it could probably last, support a patient for up to 15 years, maybe beyond. But it's really in the early stages now. We've just started implanting in folks in 2004, so we don't have a long history of it. Some of our longest patients on the device have been kept alive for 4 years, and then they've gotten a transplant, a human heart. But there are only about 2,000 hearts available for transplant in the world, and yet there are 1 million people who die from congestive heart failure. So your chances of getting a donor heart are quite slim, about 1,000 to 1. And so our goal is to make this device something that people can live a long, healthy life on.
And the batteries last on the same age as the device? Or?
Actually, the device is implanted, but the batteries remain outside, and they drive the device through a percutaneous cable. And they usually last for about 4.5 hours and can be charged, and each cycle is about 4.5 hours.
Do you have the model with you?
I do, actually. This is it. So the chest is opened, and the surgeon lifts the heart out of the pericardial space, and this pump is attached to the apex of the heart, and an outflow graft is sewn to the ascending aorta. So the pump takes the blood from the left ventricle and circulates it around to the aorta, where it's then distributed to the body. And so a person whose heart can no longer pump the amount of blood that's needed to stay alive, this pump can step in and do that pumping for them. As we mentioned, there's probably a million patients a year that die who could survive from this device. The market right now for these devices is in the very early stages, so it's about $1.5 billion, but it's projected to grow to $3.5 billion by 2015, and no one really knows how large or how large a market is going to be beyond that, but I expect it will be a $15 or $20 billion market. There are 2 public companies in the space that we compete with. One is a company called Thoratec, and they have a market cap of about $2.6 billion, and the other is Heartware, and they have a market cap of about $700 million. But I think the interesting thing is that both those companies 18 months ago combined had a market cap of less than $800 million. So it's become recognized by Wall Street as a very, very hot and up-and-coming space.
You were introduced to this company by another friend of yours and joined this company as a chairman and CEO. But you come from a very interesting background. You've been a serial entrepreneur all your life.
That's right.
So if you can share with us the previous life of your entrepreneurship, then we'll come back to why this particular one.
Well, I started my career as an attorney, and I thought I was going to be in the field of law, but the gentleman I worked for bought some software back in the 70s and didn't quite know what to do with it, so he asked me if I could build a startup around that software, and so we did. It was a company called Ticketmaster, and we went on to develop computerized ticketing, and today that company does about $8 billion a year in sales.
But then you also went on to establish the hotel chain.
I did. I worked for Ramada Hotels as their senior vice president of development, and was given the charge to develop a new chain, and we developed the Renaissance hotels, the Ramada Renaissance hotels, which are now Marriott Renaissance hotels. But I did that starting with $100,000 to build a $30 million hotel, so I had to figure out how to buy the land and raise the money, and that one hotel turned into a chain of 1,000.
You know, people would wonder if someone who succeeded at two different verticals and two very different companies comes to biosciences and in this particular product at this company, do you think as an entrepreneur, because people who are going to watch this to wonder, does it take just the core entrepreneurship skills and zeal and the passion to come to a segment like this? Because this is a very different segment where people, if you're not from this expertise, you kind of hesitate to get into it.
Well, I believe that the expertise is always there, and we have a number of outstanding world-class surgeons who we work with. This device was developed in collaboration with NASA and was really from the design of the fuel pumps for the space shuttle, and also through the help of Dr. Michael DeBakey, who's probably the world's premier heart surgeon. So there are lots of people with lots of expertise and lots of great ideas, but it really takes an entrepreneur to get a business going. And I define entrepreneurship as someone who really can work through all of the challenges, difficulties, and struggles and keep going and find a solution. So it's really being a problem solver in many respects, and just simply never being willing to quit.
This is an interesting lesson for many aspiring entrepreneurs, I think, is people are very focused into technology, focused on the product, and it is good at a certain stage. And then you think it is important to get the kind of expertise that you bring to take the company to the next level, because that is a big challenge and people always struggle with that. Should I keep going on my own because I invented the product, I came up with this particular service? But after a certain time, it's kind of difficult for people to let go of it and realize actually there is a potential waiting out there if you bring the right skill set in, take it to the next level. Just wanted your take on that.
Well, I think that some people do have the skill to take it all the way. A lot of that depends on your passion and your desire and your conviction and your commitment. And other people may not. Maybe they're more suited to being inventors or innovators, and they need to have a team that can help them manage it. I think every situation is different, and only the inventor or the person who came up with the idea will know when the right time is to look for other help and other assistance to make sure that their idea and their product gets to market and reaches as many people as it possibly can.
Entrepreneurs are good leaders. When did you think you realized that potential in you?
I think I had leadership skills before I had professional skills, so I don't know how, I can't really tell you how those become a part of your DNA. I guess it is maybe just in your DNA, but some people choose to lead and others choose to undertake different endeavors. But I do think the most critical aspect to being an entrepreneur is to be able to articulate a vision and to get people to buy into that vision and see it to fulfillment.
Well, I suppose this is your first visit to a Tycon.
It is,
and
yes.
This is, as you know, is the largest in the world for entrepreneurs. Yeah. And the most important thing, it's all done by volunteers.
Yes.
350 volunteers who come together. What was your experience?
Well, I must admit that I didn't know about Thai until this year, and we were nominated for a Thai 50 award, and we're lucky enough to be granted it. And I must say that this is the most impressive conference of its kind that I have ever attended. In fact, it's unique, I think, in its structure, and I particularly am impressed with the amount of energy that is here, the enthusiasm that is here, and the level of expertise and mentoring that you have assembled in terms of the people from business who have started their own startups and been through the experience and are now here giving of their time voluntarily to mentor people that want to become entrepreneurs. And I really congratulate you on a most fantastic job, and I'll be coming back every year. I can't miss this. It's really exciting.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Mateen, thank you very much.